All right, so I'm going to go over making a list of colleges to apply to. So, how do you decide what colleges to apply to and which ones would be a good fit for you? Okay, real quick, for those of you who don't know who I am, my name is Glenn Cadell. I'm the owner of Cadell Prep LLC, a company that provides online and in person tutoring and test prep. I'm also the CEO of Cadell Prep Inc., a company that provides online, on demand test prep courses and math lessons. Both of these companies work with individual students and with schools to help students increase their test scores and their grades in school. All right, so the main considerations, of course, are going to be the career that you want to go into, campus life, cost, and distance. All right, so for career, obviously, we got what majors are offered, right? So if you want to be a chemical engineer and there's no chemical engineering major offered, obviously that college isn't going to work, right? So like that's the main thing. Do they offer the major that you want to major in? Okay, then alumni networks. How big is their alumni network? What positions, uh, what corporate positions are alumni in? Because it could be an easy way to get a job after college is, if the CEO of a company went to your college, and you find that they tend to recruit people from your college, that's going to be a major plus. Partnerships and connections. What industries is your university associated with? So, for example, like entrepreneurship, like especially in the tech field, Stanford has so many connections in that field that it makes sense to go to Stanford if that's what you want to do. Reputation. Uh, when you're applying for jobs, and it says the college you went to on your resume, is it going to make a hiring person really excited, or like, whatever? And do they have like the newest equipment and labs? So, are you going to be using the equipment that is used today, or are you going to working in like a 30-year-old lab with equipment that's no longer being used? And does any of this even matter for your career choice, right? So, like, if you're going the civil service route, like fire department or police officer, do you need these things? Does alumni, equipment, reputation, does it even matter? Or, are you getting your degree just as like part of a checklist, right? And then say the same thing for like teaching, right? Nursing, things like that. It probably doesn't matter what college you go to. Campus life. So this is a big part because this is going to be, like 4 years of your life. What's the campus life like? What's the size of the campus? Your campus could be the size of a full city, right? So, it affects your actual life there because the bigger the college, the more people are going to be, obviously. So, like, it might not be a close knit group. Maybe you like a close knit group where you know everybody in your major. You're not like one of like thousands of kids. You're like only one of 30 kids. The location is going to matter. Do you want to be in a rural area where your college might be the only place to do things, or do you want to be in an urban area where there's like different things to do outside of your campus? And that could also help for like internships while you're in college. You know, is there a big city nearby, or are you in a big city where you could find internships available? Class I. So, all your classes, do they take place in a big auditorium where there's several hundred kids and the professor doesn't know you? Or are you in a small classroom where you get recognized by a professor, you're able to ask questions, things like that? Does your campus offer a room and board, or are you going to have to find an apartment outside? Or maybe you commute, depending on where you're going. And competitive teams. So even if you're not on the team, you know, maybe you want to experience going to like a college football game or a basketball game or something like that. It's it could be pretty exciting. So these are all things that you have to consider when you're thinking about the life on campus. Okay, cost. So something that I was hinting at earlier was debt versus income, right? Do you want to go into a college that's going to cost you a ton of money if you're going to go and get a career that's not going to be able to pay for that, right? Or is it necessary to take on all that debt for that income? So I mentioned like teachers and nurses and things like that, right? So like most of those positions, it doesn't matter what college you went to, you're going to get a set income based on experience, right? So you're going to start off your first year making a certain amount of money. Maybe after 5 years, you get a significant raise, things like that. So why take on a ton of debt if it's not going to increase your income? Obviously, budget matters, and there's something called the true cost. So the list price, I would say, of a university isn't necessarily what you're going to pay, right? Because when you apply to a college, the amount of aid you receive is going to be based on your estimated contribution. Like how much can your family contribute to you going to college? Okay, and the universities calculate that differently. Not only that, but some of them have different endowments available to offer you more money, right? So I like to use this example. Cornell is listed as $65,000 a year, or at least it was a couple years ago when I pulled up this data. And the College of Staten Island is listed at $24,500, right? So someone who doesn't have a lot of wealth is probably going to look and say, okay, I should go to College of Staten Island because I don't want to spend $65,000 a year. But based on this person's specific financial situation, the estimated real cost of Cornell was only about $11,400 to like $15,000, and the College of Staten Island was estimated to be between $13,900 and $17,400. So it's possible that the College of Staten Island would have been more expensive, and even if they were the same cost, like you shouldn't turn down applying to Cornell if it's going to be the same cost as the College of Staten Island. So don't always base it on the list price that you see, because depending on your financial situation, it could be much less. And of course, distance. If you're in New York, if you're from New York and your family's in New York and you're in Southern California, are you going to get homesick? It's a real consideration. I've seen it happen to students. When I was in college, I've seen it happen to friends. They got homesick and ended up switching universities or colleges. All right. Now, after you apply to these colleges, you want to sort them by fit. So you can try and do this manually based on your GPA, your SAT or ACT score, and the average score of the most recent admitted class. But this is something we can help you with also, because we're going to look at not only your GPA and SAT score, but also the difficulty of the ones you apply to, the amount of service hours you did, and how active you are in different groups. And it'll give us a real good understanding of how likely it is that you're going to be admitted to certain schools. All right, so just to recap, when you're making your list, obviously you're going to consider your career. That's first and foremost. Most people go to college for a good career afterwards, not just to get the knowledge. The campus life, cost, distance from home, and then you should sort the list based on your fit, like the likelihood of you being accepted there. All right, so hopefully I answered most of your questions. If you have any other questions, please leave a comment in the video. I'll try and get to it in a future video. And of course, you can check our other videos, which may have covered the topics you're interested in. Thank you.